Alright, welcome back to the channel. Now, my name is Mark and we have something different on the Land Rover. So this is the OZtrail Canning 1300 rooftop tent. Let's get straight into it. A couple months ago, OZtrail called us up. They said, boys, we know you love using gear. We've got some new stuff coming out, a whole new range of camping and overlanding gear, let's say. Would you be interested in testing it? Give us some feedback, the good, bad and the ugly. As you can see, it certainly isn't ugly. So let's have a look at it. Everyone's heard of OZtrail. However, rooftop tents and OZtrail, I don't know, you may not have heard of that before. So I think this is pretty new for them. It's a tough category. The rooftop tent category is flooded. There's a huge amount of options. So let's give you a bit of a look through OZtrail's Canning 1300. Just remember, we have had a first impressions setup video that's already on our channel, so go check that out if you're looking for first impressions. But today this is more an in-depth setup and just our thoughts in general. Firstly, just note before we start, the Defender is an extremely tall vehicle, which makes anything on the roof a pain in the arse to handle. So I keep the ladder inside the Defender just so I can help set it up. Anything with side steps and just lower vehicles in general, you can reach everything a lot easier. So, you know, I'm about 6'1", and I can barely even touch the top of the tent, just to give you an idea on how tall this vehicle is. As you can see, it's a hard shell rooftop tent. There's 4 latches. So that's those 2. All right, so 1, 2 there. All right, from there, it's like most rooftop tents, it's as simple as pushing up the top and letting the gas struts do the work. So very, very easy setup. Bungee cord here, or elastic, keeps it nice and tight for pack up. So we're going to get that out the way. Back up here. So again, this bungee cord. So if your vehicle wasn't 7 foot tall, you'd easily just bungee cord, bungee cord. All right, there we have it. Now I'm going to head up the ladder. Just be aware, because the vehicle's so tall, I can't actually get onto the ladder points on the tent. So I've got it hooked onto the roof rack. You could buy the accessories for the roof rack for ladders. However, I've found it actually hooks in all right. Again, this is more of a problem on the Defender and nothing else. There is this bit of a rain fly. So setup will just mean getting a couple of poles out. These come in a bag just so if they do get dirty or wet and you need to pack away, you can put them in the bag and you won't get your bedding and everything else wet or dirty. So nothing special there. It's like a lot of rooftop tents use a similar setup here. Hook that side on and there's your tent. So that's setup complete. The last thing before you'd want to get to bed would be just the bungee cord inside the tent. So I'm not sure if you can see that right now, but that's just pulling the canvas in from each side, and that is setup complete. As it's just starting to spit out here as well. Hopefully the rain holds off. All rooftop tents, I think, or a lot of rooftop tents in this day and age, they're quick to set up, which is why everyone loves them. But there's a couple of critical things which really can set them apart from, I guess, each other. So with the Canning rooftop tent, you can leave all your bedding in there, 2 pillows, sleeping bag, all of that. It is designed to keep the ladder in there as well. So that's not a problem. Like all of them though, you do need to spread them out so they're as flat as possible because you are still limited to room up there. Weight is a killer. This day and age, everyone needs to be concerned about the weight of their vehicle and everything you bolt onto it. So that's why I think weight is probably one of the most important things when talking about any accessory you're bolting onto your car. The OZtrail rooftop tent, it's in the same category as probably most of them, in the sense that it's about 85 kilos. Then you've got the weight of the ladder and the roof rack system, which can be removed as well. So that total weight brings it up to 95 kilos. So that's about ballpark with most in the category. But generally with weight comes strength, but it certainly has to suit your vehicle and your roof rack setup. Another thing that's pretty important for us at SIDETRACKED is what things look like. And we both agree that the OZtrail rooftop tent is actually probably one of the best looking tents out there. I'm not sure if it's the splash of colour they've put on there, or if it's just the different design, how it's not just the true wedge, it's the wedge with the extra bit of room up the front here. But yeah, looks, hit the nail on the head there. So one thing a bit different with this tent is the gas struts are on the inside of the tent, which gives it that real sleek external look. However, that does chew up into your interior space, obviously. And also we've found that it runs very close to where the zips are. And when you're in the tent, actually unzipping it and zipping it back up, it's not just one smooth motion. You do actually find the gas strut in the way a little bit. But mind you, I've always been concerned about having them on the outside because we do like to go down some more adventurous trails, and that means sticks and trees and everything are coming into contact with the tent. So having everything out of the way does make a lot of sense. One other thing is with the gas strut on the inside of the tent is packing up. Generally you push all your canvas in as far as you can as it comes down. However, with a bar right there in the way, that limits that spot there as how much canvas you can tuck in behind it. So one other interesting or unique things about the OZtrail's rooftop tent is the opening mechanism. So rather than the traditional wedge, it's actually popped the lower end up a little bit just to give you more, I guess you could even, gives you the option to sleep either direction, I guess, and just has a bigger internal volume as well. So that feature there is great. Internal storage is pretty good as well. There's actually a removable storage pocket up the top here, so you can jam anything you need up there. One has a clear cover on it, so you can put an iPad in there, watch a movie, chill out. That's always appreciated as well. There's a couple more smaller pockets down the end. We have LED light, strip light on the lower end as well. So bring up a power pack, plug that into the light, and you've got lighting inbuilt. So that's pretty cool. All right, in terms of ventilation, another pretty important thing when deciding on a tent, it's got to vent well, particularly in Australia. This tent certainly has plenty of ventilation. You've got 3 access points, so either side and the rear. You can get in and out of any one of those, whatever suits your preference. And then down near the foot end, another opening, and also above the rear door, there's this big opening as well, which I've left open pretty much every time. It's a great little vent that's still protected from the elements with that external shade out. When sleeping in a canvas tent like this, you always want it vented anyway, no matter what the temperature is, just to prevent that condensation build-up. Personally, I'm not a big fan of these flappy awnings, and that's on any rooftop tent, any tent in general. A windy night, and this flaps around like this all damn night. What can you do about it? Well, one occasion in outback New South Wales, I did have to get out or get up in the night and roll it up, and you can just roll it up and then secure it up with the little tabs up out of the way. It's like a lot of camping gear. It's good when the weather's good, but we really do like to test things when the weather's poor. But when the weather's poor, that'll really set apart a really well-designed product from a poor product. So again, this is a problem with a lot of these rooftop tents, is just that flapping. So when it's all zipped up in here, this is easily the darkest tent I've ever slept in. I don't know what it is, but this canvas is like a block out canvas. You couldn't tell if it was night or daytime. All right, so let's just have a quick look at that. It's, as you can tell, it is a little bit overcast, but the sun is well and truly up. Pass me that camera, Nick. So there we go, that's super dark. That's almost eerie how dark this tent can actually be. Thanks, mate. Back to you. While we're up here, the quality of the canvas, and actually not just the canvas, the quality overall, really high quality gear. There's been no faults with it. Zips, canvas, fly mesh, it's all been really nice stuff. There's been no problems. So that's pretty positive to see. So the Canning 1300 does come with the roof rack option as well. So these can be removed if you don't want them or don't need them. Save yourself a bit of weight. But yeah, great for throwing your surfboard, max tracks, solar panel. So one more critical, or not even, more so a necessity with a rooftop tent, it's got to be watertight. So camping this thing over on Fraser in the rainforest, it really came down on us all night. It rained. There was not a problem inside the tent, completely dry. Going on from there, we've also traveling with it. So Nick took it over to Perth for a trip as well. We went through some torrential rain, like just driving through rain all day. It was quite a spectacle actually. However, popped the tent in the afternoon, not a drop inside. So that is a good sign. So there's a pretty good look at the setup of the Canning and also an in-depth look throughout it as well. So some of the, I guess the pros and cons, if you want to call them that we've found so far. Pros, looks great. One thing we probably haven't touched on is the mattress. The mattress is easily the most comfortable mattress I've slept on tent-wise. So huge pro there. The mattress is, I think it's only a 50mm mattress, but it is a lot more comfortable than some 75mm mattresses that I've slept on. So the mattress is great, that's for sure. I mean, like a lot of rooftop tents, this is super easy to set up. So within, let's say, a minute and a half, you could probably have head on pillow, laying down, you know, ready to sleep for the night. So heaps easy to set up. I think the canvas is probably a pro as well. And in saying that, I mean ventilation as a whole. So great windows all around, all four sides. So just have a look at, when you're looking at purchasing a tent, does it have ventilation on all four sides, which is, I think is, again, important. Having a, I guess, being a wedge style hard shell rooftop tent, but also lifting in the lower end at the foot end here, or the front of the tent. There's not too many tents that do that, but it does just give that little bit extra room inside, which is great. It's a great feature. There's a lot of small pockets, the light in there. There's a few things like that that actually does seem like it's been well thought out, and has or includes just about everything you'd need in a rooftop tent. So that's probably one of the other pros. All right, now cons of the tent. Like everything, just about any product out there, there'll be good, there'll be bad. So what have we found with this one? I'm not going to talk about the weight of the tent, because any tent in this category, I think the weights are all probably within 10 kilos of each other. If you think the weight of 85, 95 kilos is too heavy, then you're probably looking at a completely different market of tents. So the weight for me isn't a con, it's just, that's these type of tents, that's how much they weigh. And it's well within everything else in its category. Next up for me would be the side openings and having that gas strut on the inside. And just a zip, can't make one smooth motion. It's just a bit awkward to grab that zip. So that's just, I think, again, it's a minor thing, but it's just something that just a little bit of a niggling, annoying thing when you're getting in and out. All right, so that just about brings us to the end of it. Now, I'm gonna show you one last problem I've found, and that's during packing it up. All right, let's get into packing up. One last thing I forgot to mention, boot bag. So when you get up there, put your shoes in the bag, keep them dry. It's got the sail track, it's got some clips, so you can either clip it to the roof rack, clip it to the ladder, or even if you've got an awning or something, slide it into the sail track. So everything you'd really want included, OZtrail tent comes with it. It's good to see. First thing we need to do is ensure your bedding is flat away from the edges, out from any mechanism, closing mechanism on the side, and then just attach the bungee cord on the inside, just pulling both sides in. One other thing we want to do while we're up here is remove the 2 poles that hold the awning out, and then find the bag that they are stored in and put them away. So once you've got all your bedding and everything inside, your poles are down, awning's down, I like to zip everything up, however, not completely. We do want air to be able to escape easily out of here, so leave all of those flaps down a little bit, zip up the fly mesh all the way. Now we've got this bungee cord that can go up. Try and tuck that in there as well. All right, again, back up onto the back of the Defender here. If your vehicle wasn't so damn tall, which is a pain, not just for the rooftop tent, but just about anything I do, pull the back down. So you can see having those windows all cracked just allows that air to escape. Throw the handle in. That bungee really does a good job along the back here of pulling all that canvas in. But when we get to here, we do want to head up the front and start tacking some canvas in. This brings me to probably my biggest gripe with this tent so far, has just been getting this all tucked in well enough. And it's really just this front edge. As it sits there nicely now on one side, I can go to the other side. Same on this side, push it up and in. Get as much canvas poked in as possible. And now at the back, we can just continue coming down. So this is the difficult part, and probably the most time consuming part of this tent is just tucking this, really coming down slowly and tuck as you go. And with one person, I find it a little bit difficult, or it's just more so back and forth from side to side. That's in, poke all that in. So once you're happy with that one side, I like to just push that clip under, but don't latch it just yet. I just want to do a final check. I could probably even latch the front ones now because they're fully closed. So before you latch this side completely, you want to tuck that in. Particularly, there's a couple of little tabs that hold your mesh and windows. Once you've rolled them up, they hold the windows out, but those little canvas flap tabs hang out of the seal, so make sure you push them in. And then finally, push it down and clip it. All right, latch that final one up, and that is pack up done. As I said earlier, I don't keep the ladder inside the tent, just so it can help me with actual pack up and setup. But there it is, a great looking tent. Certainly, if you're in the market for a hard shell rooftop tent, the OZtrail Canning 1300 has to be in the argument. Go check it out.